Hi everyone, today we're going to take notes on compounds. So our learning target for today is that I can describe and give examples of compounds. So I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the slides, and this is page 4 in your notebook. Alright, so we're going to be writing this in our notebook. First off, you want to put your title, compound notes, and your learning target. I can describe and give examples of compounds. It should look something like that. So what is a compound? A compound is when atoms of two or more different elements bond or attach to each other. So we looked at the periodic table that has a list of all of the known elements in our universe, and sometimes these elements come together and form different things. So they combine together, and this is what a compound is. And that's how we get a lot of the things that exist in our universe, such as sugar, which is carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen all put together. We get things like salt, which is sodium and chlorine. And then, of course, water, which is hydrogen and oxygen. So, for example, water forms with 2 hydrogen atoms plus 1 oxygen atom. And hydrogen and oxygen are both gases, but when you add them together, you get water, liquid water. So this example is showing us that when we combine different elements, the properties are going to change. So we saw 2 gases come together to form liquid water. So the properties of compounds are often different from the elements they're made of. So it's kind of like a new form. They're coming together to create something completely new. So you're going to see these chemical formulas, and just so we know how to read them, I'm going to go over what these numbers and letters mean. So first off, the letters are the symbols of the elements. So this C represents carbon because that's the symbol on the periodic table. Remember, you don't have to memorize all of this. You should always have a periodic table by you so you can look up what the letter C means. And like the letter O stands for oxygen. So those are the 2 symbols we see here for our elements. So let's now look at the numbers. So here we have a big number, and this big number is called a coefficient. It tells you how many molecules there are. And you're going to multiply this by the number of each type of atom. So here it's telling me I have 2 CO2 molecules. So that means I have 2 carbon atoms, and then I have 4 oxygen atoms. And how do I have 4? Well, let's see why. A subscript, which is this small number next to the oxygen, tells how many of each type of atom there are. And if there's no subscript, there's just one of that atom. So here this says there's 2 oxygens because there's a little 2 next to the O. And then this big 2 says that there's twice the total amount. So we did O2 times 2, and that's how we get 4 atoms of oxygen. So I want you to go ahead and practice with this just to see if we can get some practicing done on counting how many atoms there are. So for example, here we have NaCl. And what's important to know is that each symbol starts with a capital letter. So if it has a lowercase letter next to it, that's still part of this symbol. So capital Na is the symbol for sodium. Cl is the symbol for chlorine. And I know this because I am looking at a periodic table. So you should have one handy, and you should have a link to one, or you can just Google it as well. So here I know I have 1 sodium and 1 chlorine. So I put 1, 1. Here I have 1 C. C by itself, a big letter C, stands for carbon. So I have 1 carbon, and then here I have O2, because that little 2 is attached to the O next to it. So I have 2 oxygens. So go ahead and practice and do these 3 on your own, and we will go over them tomorrow in class. So make sure to get this down in your notebook. The slides are there as well if you want some more detail. And I look forward to seeing you later. Bye.